were not abandoned. You were not forgotten. You were chosen, handpicked to awaken, when so many around you remained asleep. The passing equinox was no ordinary day, no simple turning of the seasons. It was a sacred threshold, a cosmic dividing line, where the unseen and the seen touched. To the unawakened, it slipped by unnoticed, just another date crossed off on a calendar. They hurried through their routines, eyes dimmed by distraction, lulled by repetition. But you felt the tremor beneath the surface. Something deep within your spirit recognized it. You sensed that time itself was shifting, that a veil was being pulled back, revealing a truth too radiant to ignore. Understand this. What unfolded was not an ending, but a beginning. The equinox was the quiet spark that set everything into motion. It whispered a calling, one that only the attuned could hear. It was not for the crowd. It was for the few, the chosen, those who could feel the pulse of the universe stirring them awake. And that includes you. From this point forward, life will not look the same. The days ahead are not repeats of the past. They are invitations. The separation has already begun. Those who stay bound to their old patterns will keep looping, trapped in cycles that no longer fit. But for you, for those who crossed over with awareness, the world itself begins to respond differently. What you see, what you sense, what you are about to encounter, these are signs designed specifically for you, signs invisible to others, but undeniable to you. Do not mistake the silence of this beginning for emptiness. It is the stillness before revelation. The universe is holding its breath, waiting for you to realize the weight of what has just shifted. You are not standing on the old ground anymore. You are standing on a threshold of divine transformation, and every step you take now will confirm why you were chosen to rise while others slept. The equinox did not signal the end. It was the opening note of a grand awakening. What you felt was not closure but ignition. The shift did more than brush against you. It reached inside, tearing away the husk of who you once were. The smaller self, the doubter, the hesitator, the one who lived caged by fear and second-guessing, could not survive this crossing. That part of you dissolved in the stillness of the equinox, leaving only the raw essence of who you were always meant to become. This awakening is not abstract. It is tangible, alive, pulsing through your thoughts and actions. Already, you may notice subtle changes. Habits that once held you in their grip begin to loosen. Words you once swallowed out of fear now rise effortlessly from your lips. Where you once shrank back, you now feel an unfamiliar boldness pushing you forward. This is the uprising, the slow yet unstoppable emergence of the new you. The rapture has only just begun, and it is rewriting you from within. Do not expect this transformation to be comfortable. Every rebirth is both a shedding and a birthing. As your old identity unravels, remnants will try to cling. Shadows of the former self will appear, whispering doubts, tempting you to retreat into the familiar. Yet those whispers are only echoes, powerless if you stand firm. The new you, forged in the balance of light and shadow, will not be seduced by the patterns that once defined your cage. What is awakening inside you is strength tempered by compassion, clarity sharpened by mystery, and vision broadened by divine design. You are stepping into alignment with a current greater than yourself. This is why the world feels different now, because it is. The equinox shifted not only your inner terrain, but the very fabric of the reality surrounding you. Every encounter, every choice, every moment that unfolds in the days ahead is no longer random. Each is a thread woven into your awakening, shaping how far this rapture will carry you. Remember this: you were chosen not just to rise, but to witness, to see what others cannot, to walk paths invisible to those who stayed behind. The awakening has begun, and with it, the true journey of your becoming. As the awakening deepens, one of the first signs you will encounter comes as a mirror from the past. Echoes of the old self. These moments arrive unexpectedly, catching you off guard, like flickers of an old film reel replaying across the backdrop of your new life. Perhaps it is a dream where the familiar face of your former self lingers, moving through scenes that once defined you. Perhaps it is a stranger whose words pierce you with uncanny familiarity, repeating phrases that used to bind you. Or perhaps it is simply a place, a corner of a room, a turn of a street, that stirs memories you thought you had outgrown. These are not accidents. They are the universe reminding you the old self is bowing out. Do not be alarmed. These echoes are not threats. They are rituals of completion. They appear not to haunt you, but to honor the chapters that have closed. Notice the tone in which they arrive. Rarely loud, rarely demanding. Instead, they carry a quiet tenderness, a farewell disguised as memory. When they come in dreams, the scenes feel like rehearsed goodbyes. The old you practicing its final lines before stepping off stage. When they come in waking life, they often stir a strange sympathy within you, a softness for the person you once were, and the struggles you carried. That sympathy is the gift. It is the compassion that seals the chapter without anger, without shame. As you meet these shadows, you will find your response is no longer the same. What once triggered you now leaves you steady, calm, anchored. Instead of collapsing back into old patterns, you offer presence, a quiet steadiness that silently speaks. I remember, and I am at peace. This is the power of release, not the violent tearing away of the past, but the gentle acceptance that allows it to dissolve on its own. Understand this. The echoes will fade. The more you root yourself in the new center, the less hold those old versions will have. Dreams will cease to replay. Faces from the past will appear less frequently. And when they do, their grip will be soft, fleeting. You are not erasing the past. You are forgiving it, blessing it, and stepping forward unburdened. This is the first sign of the rapture at work, the quiet closure of the old self, making room for the fullness of who you are becoming. With the echoes of the old self fading into memory, a new sign emerges, one that feels both unfamiliar and deeply necessary. You will notice a stirring within you, an urge to step back to seek quiet, to dwell in spaces where noise no longer intrudes. This is not the old loneliness that once gnawed at your spirit. No, this solitude carries a different texture. It is purposeful, sacred, chosen. It is the gift of space, a sanctuary carved out by the equinox, so that you may refine the being you are becoming. The impulse to withdraw may at first feel strange, as if you are walking away from the very rhythms that once defined your days. Friends may notice your absence. Familiar circles may sense your retreat. Yet what they interpret as distance is, in truth, alignment. Solitude is not your escape. It is your workshop. In the silence, you will begin reshaping your edges, smoothing what no longer belongs, sharpening what now defines you. The quiet becomes your teacher. Each moment away from the noise allows you to feel the contours of your new center more clearly. This separation is not about rejecting others, but about learning the measure of your own energy. You will see how easily the old world consumed you with distractions, arguments, and the endless search for approval. But in solitude, you no longer leap to every noise. You watch, you hold, you measure, and in that stillness, clarity is born. You begin to test your boundaries, not in conflict but in peace, seeing who respects them, who does not, and how you choose to stand firm regardless. Understand that this solitude will unsettle some. Those who depended on the old apologetic version of you will feel the shift most sharply. They will tug, expecting the pliable you to return. But your silence will reveal the truth. You are no longer available for what diminishes you. This is the filter at work, removing what no longer aligns so that what truly belongs can remain. In this sacred aloneness, you will notice changes that seem subtle but are profound. Your sleep deepens, your thoughts move with sharper lines, your choices align more quickly with the core of who you are. Solitude becomes not a void, but a seedbed where vision germinates. The world may call it isolation, but you will know it as refinement, the holy silence where the rapture does its most delicate work. From the quiet of solitude, another sign begins to surface, one that feels less like reflection and more like a summons. You will begin to notice ideas, sudden and insistent, arriving in your mind like sparks from another world. They will not drift in like idle daydreams. They will press against you with weight and urgency, refusing to be ignored. A vision of a project, a bold plan that seems beyond your current reach, a conversation you suddenly know you must have, or even the pull toward a place that calls you without explanation. These are not coincidences. These are assignments, blueprints whispered into your spirit by the very shift that carried you across the equinox. At first, you may doubt them. They often feel outsized, too daring, too different from the way you've lived until now. They may demand resources you do not yet see, or courage you are not certain you possess. But notice how they persist. They return, each time sharper, more detailed, as if they are building themselves in your mind piece by piece. This persistence is the sign. They are not optional. They are tasks etched into your path, invitations to step into the larger version of yourself. These assignments are not about ego or fantasy. They come with a weight of clarity, a resonance that feels undeniably true. And often, they come with friction. You may find yourself needing to rearrange parts of your life to make space for them. Relationships, schedules, even the identity you once carried. The very act of saying yes to these assignments will feel like a stretching, a reshaping. It will not be effortless. But what feels like disruption is, in truth, alignment. These tasks are perfectly calibrated to draw out the edges of who you are becoming. As you begin to respond, allies will appear, people placed precisely at the right moment, unexpected helpers, sudden openings that seem to materialize out of thin air. Do not mistake this for chance. It is confirmation. The universe equips what it assigns. But there is a choice. Resist, and the ideas will grow louder, transforming into restless noise. Lean in, and they will unfold step by step into living reality. This is how the rapture builds. It does not only strip away, it hands you the plans for what must now rise in the clearing. These assignments are your sacred work, the divine architecture placed in your hands. To accept them is to choose legacy over survival, to let the awakening move from vision into form. As you step into the assignments given to you, another sign begins to emerge, one that reveals itself not through your effort, but through your presence. Without trying, you will notice the world around you responding. People will lean in closer when you speak. Strangers may pause in your company, sensing something they cannot explain. Friends, co-workers, or even family may begin to shift in small but noticeable ways, mirroring your habits, softening their tone, or adopting practices they once ignored. This is influence without preaching, the quiet radiance of a life aligned. You will find that you no longer need to convince or persuade. Your transformation speaks for itself, of the steadiness in your voice, the way you carry yourself, the clarity of your choices. These become living demonstrations of a new way of being. For some, this will be inspiring. For others, unsettling. But either way, they cannot remain unaffected. Your life becomes a mirror in which others glimpse possibilities they had not considered. This influence does not roar like a sermon. It whispers through example. It is in the way you hold boundaries with grace, the way you walk into a room with calm rather than chaos, the way you meet challenges without crumbling. People notice even when they say nothing. The ripple spreads, subtle yet undeniable. A colleague begins rising earlier. A friend quietly drops a destructive habit. A partner treats you with a newfound respect. None of this comes from you demanding change. It flows because you embodied it first. At times, this power may feel unsettling. You did not ask for followers, yet eyes now turn toward you. You may wonder why your choices carry such weight. But remember, this is the effect of the rapture within you. When you align, you recalibrate the field around you, and others cannot help but respond. Influence in this form is not about dominance, but resonance. It is not about controlling others, but about embodying such authenticity that it becomes contagious. Understand, too, that this quiet influence carries responsibility. The world is watching, not for perfection, but for proof. Proof that the shift you claim is real. Proof that there is a way to live differently. And though it may feel daunting, it is also sacred. For your presence alone is teaching, showing, guiding. This is how light spreads, not through force, but through the undeniable evidence of a life transformed. But with influence comes another sign, one far less comfortable yet deeply necessary: the tests of pressure. As your presence grows steadier and your influence radiates outward, life itself will begin to probe the strength of your transformation. Strangely, these tests do not arrive as grand, earth-shattering trials. Instead, they slip in through the cracks of ordinary life. Delays, disruptions, inconveniences that seem far too small to matter, yet linger longer than they should. A traffic jam when you are late. A conversation that twists into irritation. A plan derailed by circumstances outside your control. These small frictions are not random. They are deliberate measures of the new strength forged within you. Think of it as the refining of a crown. Metal is not tested by admiration but by pressure. The Equinox hardened you, shaped you, placed weight upon your spirit. And now the universe presses gently but persistently against your edges to reveal whether the change was surface costume or structural truth. Do you remain anchored when the flow of life resists you? Or do you slip back into the old habits, anxiety, anger, self-doubt that once defined you? Each petty frustration is a sacred mirror, showing whether you have truly crossed over or are still rehearsing at the border. These moments may feel unfair precisely because of their ordinariness. Grand trials allow the ego to prepare, to brace itself, to perform strength. But small irritations bypass the performance and strike at the root of habit. They test what is unpolished, what hasn't yet been claimed. Can you keep your center when the stakes seem low? Can you guard your peace when no one else is watching? These are the questions written into each inconvenience, each delay, each triggered memory. When you learn to hold steady under these pressures, something extraordinary happens. Energy that would have been scattered in frustration is preserved for what truly matters. The conversations that carry weight, the opportunities that demand clarity, the assignments placed in your path, fail the test, and friction multiplies. Pass it, and doors that once stuck begin to open with ease. The world rearranges itself in response to your steadiness. So, do not despise the small pressures. They are not punishments nor signs of regression. They are calibrations, precise instruments measuring the depth of your transformation. They separate temporary awakenings from enduring legacies. And in enduring them with grace, you prove not just to the world, but to yourself, that the rapture has taken root at the core of who you are. Passing through the tests of pressure prepares you for a deeper challenge, one cloaked not in frustration but in allure. This is the next sign, the temptations of the old world. Once the rapture pulls you across the threshold, the world you left behind does not simply release its grip. It notices your absence, and it begins to whisper, offering paths back into the familiar. These invitations rarely arrive as obvious traps. Instead, they come dressed as comfort, nostalgia, or opportunity. A past relationship resurfaces with tender words. An old friend calls, promising laughter in the places where you once hid your pain. A job offer arrives, sparkling with stability, but demanding a compromise of your new truth. Each of these carries the same hidden cost, your return ticket to the life you outgrew. The danger lies in their subtlety. Unlike the sharp edges of struggle, these invitations wrap themselves in softness, making you question whether you truly need to move forward. They echo the safety of belonging, the warmth of familiarity, the relief of being understood without needing to stretch. But safety here is stagnation. The old world does not tempt you because it loves you. It tempts you because your rising exposes its unwillingness to change. Your evolution shines a light that unsettles those who remain bound. So they call you back, not to honor you, but to keep their illusions intact. Pay close attention to how these offers feel in your body. The ones that do not belong will feel constrictive, like wearing a garment 2 sizes too small. They flatter, they soothe, but underneath, they shrink you. True opportunities, the ones aligned with your awakened self, may feel quieter, lonelier, even riskier, but they will always expand you. They will demand courage, not compromise. Authority itself may lean differently now. People who once dismissed you may begin offering roles, recognition, or praise. These can feel intoxicating, like validation of your change. But beware the cost. Acceptance that strips you of sovereignty is not honor, it is entrapment. Likewise, guilt and obligation may tug at you. Family ties, communal expectations, traditions that insist on the return of your old self. All of these are dressed in love, yet carry the subtle weight of regression. Understand this: the louder the world calls you back, the clearer the proof that you have risen. Temptation itself is evidence of transformation. If you were not a threat to the old order, it would not seek your return. So do not confuse nostalgia for truth or flattery for destiny. The choice is not whether you can return. You can. The choice is whether you will trade the brilliance of your becoming for the dull comfort of what no longer fits. The equinox did not awaken you for retreat, but for expansion. And every temptation you resist is another step deeper into the reality that now belongs to you. When you resist the pull of the old world, when you choose expansion over regression, another sign begins to emerge: the unveiling of hidden rewards. At first, they do not thunder into your life with spectacle. Instead, they appear quietly, almost shyly, like long-awaited answers slipping into view when you least expect them. A phone call that changes your circumstances. An opportunity that once seemed lost, returning with better terms. A stranger offering the exact help you had silently prayed for. Money once delayed, suddenly finding its way back. Doors that you had stopped knocking on begin to open without force. These are not coincidences. They are the scales of the universe tipping, finally releasing what has been stored for you all along. For seasons, you may have carried the weight of delay, prayers unanswered, efforts unrecognized, patience that looked like futility to the watching world. Perhaps you were mocked, misunderstood, or doubted because nothing seemed to move. Yet beneath the surface, nothing was wasted. What looked like stagnation was incubation. What seemed like silence was storage. The equinox acted as a cosmic turning point, shifting the balance from delay to delivery. Now the seeds that lay dormant begin to sprout, not chaotically, but in alignment. No longer do you receive offers that drain your spirit or opportunities that demand compromise. Instead, what comes feels clean, precise, almost tailored, as if every test of endurance was preparing you to hold these rewards without breaking. But the treasure is not only external. As these blessings arrive, you will notice something even greater within yourself. A new calmness, a grounded assurance, a trust in your own steps that no one can take away. This is the real wealth, the character forged in waiting, the strength born from struggle, the clarity born of fire. External blessings may come and go, but this inner transformation is permanent. It is the evidence that what once felt like punishment was actually preparation. Do not dismiss these shifts as luck or coincidence. Recognize them for what they are. The universe affirming that you were never abandoned, only refined. The rewards were not denied. They were preserved until you were ready. Now they come as confirmation. You endured. You remained faithful to the path. And now you stand ready to receive. This is why the equinox feels like a rapture. Not because you escaped this world, but because the weight that once pressed you down has lifted. Struggle no longer defines you. It has become the proof of your strength, and in that strength, you now stand open to every hidden reward prepared for you. As the hidden rewards begin to reveal themselves, another realization unfolds, one that touches deeper than opportunities or blessings. You are not alone in this awakening. At first, the path may feel solitary, as though you are walking through a world where few can understand the clarity you now carry. The people around you may still move in familiar loops, blind to the transformation shaping you. This solitude can trick you into believing you were the only one who answered the call of the equinox. But the truth is far more profound. There are others, scattered, unseen, yet unmistakably real, who also crossed through. These individuals are not gathered in one place. They are dispersed across the map like stars in the night sky, each shining in their own corner of the world. They are hidden, placed with precision, their presence revealed only when the time is right. And when you encounter one of them, you will know immediately. It will not require long explanations or forced recognition. The connection will be instant, undeniable, as though two flames suddenly discovered each other and burned brighter in unison. It may be a stranger whose gaze meets yours with knowing recognition, as if they see straight into the fire now burning within you. It may be an old friend who, after years of silence, reveals they have been walking a parallel path, waiting for the moment to step forward. Or it may be someone unexpected, appearing exactly when your spirit needs confirmation that you are not imagining this shift. These meetings are not accidents. They are divine appointments, signals reminding you that you are part of a constellation far greater than yourself. Understand that these encounters will not be frequent. This is by design. If all who crossed were gathered too quickly, the temptation to collapse into comfort would be strong. Instead, you are called to grow strong in solitude first, to fortify your frequency before joining it with others. You are being trained to carry your light into places that remain heavy, not to judge those who stayed behind, but to embody what is possible beyond the threshold. When you do meet one of the few, The recognition will strike deeper than words. It will feel like confirmation that you were never alone, never delusional, never abandoned. It will remind you that while you are one flame, you are also part of a constellation, a hidden design meant to light the way those still stumbling in the dark. This is the 8th sign, the discovery of the others who rose. And in that discovery, you will feel the truth. You are one of the few, but you are never truly alone. And so, as you come to the close of this journey through the signs, understand this. What began at the equinox was not a fleeting event, but a permanent shift. You were not left behind. You were chosen to awaken, to rise, to cross a threshold that few dared to even notice. The path you now walk is not always easy. It is refined by solitude, tested by pressure, and tempted by the comfort of the old world. Yet, at every stage, you are being reshaped into the truest version of yourself, a version the universe has been preparing all along. The echoes of the past have bowed out. The silence of solitude has sharpened you. The assignments have summoned your courage. Influence has spread from your life without force. Pressure has tested your steadiness, and temptation has measured your loyalty to the new. Rewards, once hidden, are beginning to unfold, and even in your solitude, you are discovering you are not alone. You are part of a constellation of the awakened, scattered, yet connected, each one carrying a flame that together forms a map for those still wandering in darkness. This is the true meaning of the rapture, not an escape from the world, but a rising within it, not the abandonment of what was, but the transformation of who you are. The equinox has lit the fire, but it is your choices, your endurance, and your faith that will carry it forward. Every sign you encounter is not only evidence of your awakening, but also an invitation to step more fully into the life waiting for you. Remember this: struggle was never punishment. It was preparation. Delay was never denial. It was protection. And solitude was never abandonment. It was refinement. Now you stand on the threshold of a life aligned, a life that does not just exist, but radiates. The world may still call you back, but your clarity will show you the difference between false comfort and true destiny. As you move forward, hold on to this truth: you are not alone, and you are not finished. The rapture is not a single moment, but a journey, unfolding step by step. You were chosen to rise, and as you continue, you will become living proof that transformation is not only possible, it is inevitable for those who dare to step through. So, walk boldly, carry your flame, and let the light of your awakening become the invitation for others to find their way. If you've felt these words resonate within you, it's because they were meant for you. Share your experiences, your insights, your confirmations, because your story too is part of this greater unfolding. And if you seek more guidance, more reminders of what's stirring within and around you, remain connected. Together, we walk this path of awakening, not as many, but as the few who dared to rise.